And you've heard him seen many stories, particularly here on PM Express, about the economic crisis and its impact across the board. What we haven't done yet is assess its impact on food security. In the last 1 week, we are beginning to hear from those in the industry. Apparently, it is biting hard, and they are warning of an impending food shortage and a food crisis. But really, what is the problem? One of the main sources of this problem that the players in the industry, including farmers, are warning us about is because of the issue with fertilizer. The government is telling the farmers that chemical fertilizer is in short supply all around the world, and that indeed is true. We'll prove that to you very shortly. And the shortage the government have explained, it's dating all the way back to the COVID-19 era. And again, if you listen to the Deputy Agric Minister, he zeroes in on the Russia-Ukraine war as partly the reason why we're having this challenge. Let's check that a bit and show you why this is. If you look at Bloomberg's table here, all around the world, this is gaining some attention. I mean, this here is Russia. That's the one in red here. And you would see that apart from Canada, in terms of the world producers of potash, fundamentally what you need for the fertilizers, Russia is second only to Canada in global supply, right, of 9 million metric tons. Now, Russia has sanctions imposed on it as a result of its invasion of Ukraine. Now, what that means is that Russia would, of course, because of the restrictions that have been put on it, unable to supply to the world what it would normally do in normal times. So the 9 million metric tons of what they supply as far as fertilizer is concerned is going to be hampered. And when we have a shortage from a major power like Russia in terms of this production and the volume, what you tend to have is that prices will begin to go up. Same reason we've seen prices of oil go up on the market. And it's such a fundamental input when it comes to agriculture. And for an economy like Ghana, heavily dependent on agriculture to feed ourselves and to create jobs, you begin to appreciate why this will begin to have a massive impact on people. But this is also happening within the context of a major economic crisis locally, as of course has been brought on by factors both external and local, right? And so farmers are going to be spending more on fertilizer. And as we know, government had said, because of the tightening of the fiscal space, they no longer have money to sponsor and to subsidize fertilizer as much as they would. And so they've slashed the government support to fertilizer for the local farmers. But again, if you stay with the global story, right? If you go to the Green Markets North American Fertilizer Price Index, has risen by 10% in the first week of this month to its highest level since December. That is a significant jump, 10% at the global level. We don't produce as much fertilizer here, right? And then you should also see prices for the popular nitrogen fertilizer or urea climbed another 5% in New Orleans this week after the record 29% jump for the week ending. This is February 25. That tells a story. Pardon me. Tells a story of what is happening around the globe when it comes to fertilizer. And that is beginning to have an impact here. So prices are going up. Government subsidy is becoming an issue too. And then there are a host of other factors that the ordinary Ghanaian farmer that largely works to put food on your table is having to deal with. And that is what I've listed here. You talk about a fuel cost, the cost of fuel. The cost of fuel fundamentally is going to affect the farmer too, because the farmers use tractors. They use tractors. Tractors need fuel to operate, and the cost of fuel has gone up. Some of the farmers, they rent the tractors, but many Ghanaian farmers don't have tractors of their own, so they rent the tractors. Those who are renting out the tractors are saying to them it's going to cost them more to rent the tractor to plow their land. Why? Because those who are renting it are also having to buy fuel at exorbitant prices. Diesel is the most expensive product at the filling stations that you get, right? And so that is beginning to affect the farmer. They are unable now to rent tractors to plow their lands. Cost of seedlings going up. We import some of them. Exchange rate questions have come into play here. because of the cost at which we're importing these seedlings, and it's going to affect that. Those that we produce locally, fantastic, right? And then you have weedicide, again, something that we don't produce locally enough. And so we're getting weedicide from abroad. You're importing weedicide means you need dollars to do so. The dollar rate and the CD is a question that we've tackled many times here on PM Express. It's affecting that. Pesticides also. So you begin to appreciate that this problem we have with the economy and the global nature of it is beginning to have very devastating impact on the Ghanaian farmer. And it is a very, very big problem. They are beginning to warn us what might happen. Also because of this particular point here with the slashing of the 15% subsidy, right? And we're hearing from the peasant farmers. Majority of our farmers in Ghana are peasant farmers, right? Smallholder farmers. They've threatened to move away from cereals. They're threatening to move away from production of grains and cereals following this 15% slash of subsidy for fertilizers by the government. It is a catch-22 situation. Government hasn't got enough money to subsidize because of the economic crisis. We simply have no money. The economy is struggling. So government is slashing their subsidy by 15%. At the time when global prices of fertilizers and the cost of fertilizer is also going up. If the farmers have ever needed fertilizer, they need it more now than ever before. But unfortunately, the time when they need it most is when government too is struggling to raise the funds and the financing. So government says 15% off. So the ordinary farmer is having to contend with an increasing cost of fertilizer with less amount of government subsidy on the product. That should give you a sense. And we'll be talking to those who retail, they sell the fertilizer and the farming input. They'll tell you what's happening with the product that they sell to the farmers. They also don't have a choice. They have to put the margins on it. Other than that, they're also going to make losses here, right? And so that is a problem the farmers are saying. And this is the thing that really worries. If they're moving away from grains and cereals, mostly everything, our staple, is made of grains and cereal. Grains and cereal. If they're not going to produce this, we're going to have a food crisis on our hands very shortly. And that is why we're hearing from the buffer stock company. They are trying now to put in place measures in anticipation of this happening, because this is not going to go away anytime soon. We're waiting for the finance minister to come on Thursday. Hopefully, we might hear some solutions about this. But in the meantime, this is looming. It's its own crisis waiting to happen and needs resolution, right? And then you have the government also has revealed it may not be able to meet even the half of the budget fertilizer for this year. We are really in difficult times indeed. And you see, but government has done some good work in terms of fertilizer, quantities of organic fertilizers, the quantities of fertilizers distributed in metric tons. That is, the table tells a story, right? 2018 to now, you have, even look at 2022 so far, a lot is going out. 530,000 metric tons gone out. More than we've done in 2021, more than we've done in 2020, more than we've done in 2019, and more than we've done in 2018, right? So it's going out. A lot of it's going out already, except that the cost is really stifling these farmers. And so government is asking those who are in the economy who can produce this, they should do it, try and meet the demands as much as they can. The Met Agency, this is just to make matters worse, right? To add insult to injury, Met is warning that we're going to have a longer dry season. That is another problem that the farmers have to deal with. And so we're going to be talking about the economic crisis we are currently in and how it's affecting food security, with the government saying 50% slash in the subsidy